I'm honestly a little confused. Hey guys, this is Jules with True Crime Reactions. I have two subjects that I want to talk about in today's video. This first one I posted in my community tab yesterday because I have questions. I'm a little confused and I need somebody, all of you, to help me try to figure out what this means. Now, I have had a few comments on the community post, but more people see these videos, so this is how I'm going to be getting more input on this. I'm going to read you guys a post, a comment, that was left by Kaylee's sister Olivia in the University of Idaho murder case discussion group on Facebook. Now, according to where I found this was posted yesterday in response to us now finding out that the May 25th motion hearing is about Kaylee's family trying to appeal or amend the already amended gag order. And this is what Olivia had to say. Okay, so we aren't gagged. Let's clarify that. We have no issue at all with the police being gagged. We believe they should continue to be gagged for the remainder of this through trial. Our entire point is to clarify if and why our attorney would be gagged, as we nor he are parties in the case. It isn't that deep, has nothing to do with interviews, media, police, etc. Has everything to do with the potential overreach of judicial power that affects our legal representation. That's it, y'all. I don't comprehend. And I know I'm not a dummy, okay? But this is just strange to me. So, I mean, I kind of knew already. We all kind of knew already that whenever they went back over the gag order, we found out the families were not gagged. So then I still have to question, and I know a lot of people are going to say they don't have to talk, they don't have to talk. But you do have to admit that with as adamant as they were to be in front of the camera in the beginning of this case, why all of a sudden, now that he, Brian, has been arrested, the families are all deciding to stay silent. If they are not under a gag order, then why not talk? Granted, they don't have to, but that is a behavioral change that I am going to mention. And also, what I recall being the last, little slip of tidbit of information that Kaylee's family let go was that right after Brian was arrested, Mr. Steve came out and said that they didn't think that they had any possible connections, but then they thought they might have found one after going back through Kaylee's stuff. He could have actually said her phone, which would mean that they would have looked at call logs, text messages, emails, social media all over again for him to believe that they had possibly found a link between Kaylee and Brian. It was never repeated again. It was never confirmed again. It was never denied as not being true. They just left us here with that, and that's the last time they've actually spoken to the public, from what I can remember. So if the family is not gagged, and they want the police to continue to be gagged, I'm not understanding why it even matters if the attorney, their attorney, is gagged. Because the attorney can tell them anything that they find out in this case. So it's still just so strange to me that they're wanting to file this motion and have this whole court date for something that A, has already been done before. I think it was in February that they did this last time. I could be wrong on that. But I'm just confused. I kind of feel like if they're not gagged and they want the cops to stay gagged, and this is just about their own personal attorney, are they wanting their attorney to come out and speak about stuff? I guess I'm just not quite comprehending, because if they can talk, what's the point in this? Someone please help me clarify. Also, a few videos, well, let's just say probably a dozen or so videos ago on this case, I mentioned the fact that JLR, who a lot of you know hangs around with Bullhorn Betty, and I have my bias against JLR for my own reasons, but I'm going to give credit where credit is due, if credit is due. That's just how it is here. Before, JLR had come out and stated that in his little travels, because he's kind of a nomad, he travels all over the place. One video he's in Idaho and the next video he's in Texas, so it's a little confusing. But in one of his videos, he claimed to have gone to the Pullman Jack in the Box and spoken to some of the employees, and that's where he found out that the DoorDash driver was actually a woman with black hair who had since quit dashing, but had started back dashing recently, had taken a little bit of a break. Now, I didn't take that very serious because, according to JLR, the same people that told him this are also claiming that Bryan Kohberger would go in and order like double bacon cheeseburgers or some crap like that, okay? And honestly, I was only kind of discrediting what JLR was stating in this statement because we've been being told this entire time that Mr. Bryan is a vegan. So vegan that he cannot eat off of pots and pans that have previously cooked or touched meat. Okay, that's what we've been told this entire time. Now, last night, JLR posted a video of a recorded conversation that didn't contain him. Apparently, one of his viewers went to Pullman, went to the Jack in the Box, and recorded their own conversation. I do not recognize this girl's voice. And honestly, the employees that she's talking to don't sound like college kids. I'm just going to put that there. A lot of what they're saying is a little bit difficult. And I'm just going to go ahead and start with this. The two employees in the video, do tell this girl the exact same story of the DoorDash driver. That she was a female with black hair, that she stopped dashing right after the incident, but had recently started back up again because one of the guys in the video also claims he spoke to her a few days prior. Now, we don't know the date that this was recorded. I don't believe he states the date that this person claims to have recorded this conversation. But I took a couple of notes because, like I said, they don't sound too, okay, the people she's speaking with, they kind of sound a little all over the place, honestly. First off, they both find it strange or like some sort of miraculous miracle that the cops and the feds found out about the DoorDash order to begin with, like they have never watched a single episode of any crime show ever, which I found was interesting. And then, right before we hear the verification of the driver being a female, one of the guys states, when asked about the DoorDash driver, I feel like maybe they were high or something. They just were not paying attention to what they were being asked, in my opinion. And that's just my opinion, okay? One of them states, I've made the dude's food a lot, though, for the guy. I remember the name on the screen. And claims that the food was made for a person named Bryan Kohberger. Now, I don't know if that's factual, because she was asking about the DoorDash driver. He said it was Bryan Kohberger, and she was like, the DoorDash driver? And she was like, he's the killer. And the guy was like, oh yeah, no, that's not what I meant. No, hey man. And then he gets the other person into the conversation. So right there already is a little like, yeah. And this matters because a few seconds later, the same guy, from what I can tell, then states, it's kind of weird she ordered it and then dropped it off like that. So was it Bryan's name on the order, or did the DoorDash driver make her own order and pick it up and deliver it to King Road? Which one is it? I don't even care about any of these crazy details coming out of these kids' mouths, and I just know there's going to be all kinds of crazy hellfire that comes out because of these two statements. I can already see it now. But the only thing that I am going to focus on here is the fact that the two stories have one thing in common. Female DoorDash driver, black hair, stopped dashing right afterwards, and has since continued back up again. Thus, further proving I was right. Bryan did not go north to go to the Jack in the Box whenever he left his apartment because the PCA shows that he went directly south out of town. And no, I'm not just saying that because it fits my narrative, and I know that I'm going to get some stupid comments like that, I'm sure. I'm saying that because it's been a possibility for a very long time that this DoorDash driver was just that, a DoorDash driver. Just because food was delivered does not mean that it has to have some sort of scary connection to what actually happened. It could have literally just been coincidence. Xana didn't know ahead of time that she was about to be brutally attacked. So why wouldn't she want to order food after a night out with her boyfriend, after getting home, and it's Saturday night? Now, what will be interesting is if the DoorDash driver's testimony is actually brought about in court. Because I can pretty much bet you now, I will bet you right now, this female DoorDash driver probably drives a white or a light-colored four-door sedan.